Right, going to have a quick look at this. This is one of my latest acquisitions, and this is a Lincoln Jeffries H. the Lincoln rifle. This particular one is from the third batch. Third batch rifle. It's 5528, which makes it, just make sure I've got my facts and figures right here. Makes it June, July 1906. So this is what, 116 years old. No. Yeah, 116 years old. It's mad, isn't it? 116 years. That is quite a long time ago. And still shoots really well. And that is the surprising thing with these rifles. They really were very, very well put together. To have lasted all that time and still shoot as well as they do. And believe you me, they do shoot really well. They're very accurate. And they've got quite a bit of whack to them as well. It just shows how well designed and how well engineered and the craftsmanship that went into them. And don't forget as well, these guns, you know, they were made to be used. It's not as if it was some limited edition showpiece that was bought and stuck straight in a cabinet and that was the end of it. And it was brought out once every couple of months, had 3 or 4 pellets put through it and then was cosseted and put back. These guns were made to be shot. They were competition rifles, hunting rifles, field rifles. You know, they were made to be used. So let's have a little look at it and have a look at its defining points of what makes one of these early Lincolns an early Lincoln. So first thing is that they have, start from the stock, they've got a metal butt pad rather than the inletted later sort of BSA style little bit of wood that fits in there. So they've got a metal butt pad. Slightly different pistol grip than even the early pistol grip BSAs. It's a bit deeper and more rounded, like a little peg type thing. And the thing that you will notice on one of these, if you ever pick one up, one of the earlier ones, is the stocks are much daintier. It feels a lot slenderer. The pistol grip is much, much thinner in the hand than the later BSAs. The stock itself is much narrower. It's a narrower stock all the way across. It's much, much thinner and far, far more dainty. It's got a real dainty feel to the grip. Nice checkering. And on the other side are the engraving, the Lincoln Jeffries. This comes in different types. You get different sorts of engraving. Some of them have the Steelhouse Lane address. Some of them don't. I think they use different stamps as the years went by and as stamps wore out. They use different stamps. And as you can feel, that's, well, you can't feel it, but that's indented. It's like burnt into the woodwork, if you like. And then you've got the little standing man thing in his +4s or whatever they are, with his rifle and a funny little hat on, almost looks like a bowler hat, and registered trademark underneath. And again, that really, really slender. It's the slenderness and the daintiness of the stock, really, that you first notice when you pick one of these ones up, as opposed to the later ones. The early ones had this full sort of tang on the trigger guard that ran all the way around, well, halfway down the pistol grip. Big, long tang. Slightly more rounded adjusting screw at the front here. I don't think this one's an original one, actually. I think this is a later adjusting screw, because it should have been more rounded and slightly more bulbous. You'll notice there's no blanking plate on this side of the tap. These had a straight through tap. And the other thing to look out for when you see these earlier Lincoln Jeffries is that the loading taps are a little bit longer and a little bit finer. It's a more delicate looking loading tap, longer and thinner overall than on the later BSAs, and for that matter the later Lincoln Jeffries. It's not got the improved model D-type plate that goes across the top here, the keyhole plate type thing. So straightforward, straight through tap. And the other thing, that because it's got this straightforward, straight through tap, the hole at the top's a bit small. It's not heavily chamfered, and it's quite deep. The actual pellet needs to be seated quite deep, so you do need a bit of a probe for these to get the pellet to go in. Marked on the top, swing it over. Marked on the top, it's got H, the Lincoln air rifle, patent written on the top. The little BSA, it's got load written on it, and then the little BSA pylon logo there. And the foresights were different on the rear sights were different on these as well. They were of a much lower design than the later ones. See how low that is? It's quite a low profile sight. Little scallop in the back. It's got a scallop in the back there, and quite a low profile sight overall, really. No markings on the underlever. On the BSA patent ones and some of the later Lincoln ones, you actually get stamped on here the Lincoln Jeffries patent and the number underneath. But because this was already a Lincoln Jeffries rifle and it had patent written on the top, they didn't bother stamping it on the Lincolns. Certainly not the earlier ones anyway, on the underneath here. So there's no stamping on the underneath of this. This being an early one, it hasn't got the protective sort of raised reinforcing battens that the later duck bill or flat paddle type bayonet fitting underlevers have. So it's not got the reinforcing chamfers, and a pretty standard BSA stroke Lincoln Jeffries bead foresight. How does it shoot? Really, really well. A very accurate, very smooth, and surprisingly powerful rifle, I have to say. Must admit, I do like this rear sight, because at closer ranges it means that you can zero it much easier at closer ranges. And I like this stock. The stock on them is lovely. It feels really, really nice. It's like a dainty little stock. It gives a really nice feel to it, and this really, because it's a bit smaller and a bit longer in length down that way, but a bit narrower, this bit here really does sit in the web of your hand when you're holding the pistol grip. Nice trigger pull, and fairly vibration free shooting. All in all, marvellous old gun. Really, really nice. They only made these in 177 caliber at the start, though there were some 2.2 ones apparently later on. So really nice, beautiful little gun. 43.5 inches long, I think it is. Weighs about 6.5, 7 pounds, probably 7 pounds. Very nice.